It's always so relaxing, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Devx5, otherwise known as Developers. I'm your host, Ian Jennings, and this is Chris Chinchilla.
Hey.
Today we're looking at Rust.
Yeah. I'm excited by this one. I know you're slightly nervous because, programming languages are kind of hard to demo because, I mean, you could do anything.
I'm not one of those nerds that tries all the new languages. I just stick to JavaScript, and all the new frameworks are enough for me. So I miss Go, I miss Rust, all the other ones.
Yeah. There's a reason I wanted to look at Rust, and it's actually from the developer experience perspective. There's a lot of like technical reasons why Rust is interesting. It kind of compiles down to native code, comparable to C, but it's more modern. A lot of Firefox is built on it. It's now finding its way into the Linux kernel. Like, it's actually proving itself very, very well. But that's kind of beyond our, probably beyond our knowledge as programmers, but also as our point for this stream. One of the reasons I want to look at is also renowned for having quite a good developer experience, including something that is quite interesting, and I want to see how this is helpful or not. It bundles the documentation as part of the binary, which is kind of interesting. And it's also renowned for having really good error messages. So if things go wrong, I hope things actually go wrong, because we can see the error messages. And that's kind of some of the reasons I was interested in trying it. I doubt we're going to get very deep, but I kind of wanted to see those bits of it. So, all right. Let me just move some things over.
I heard some of that, the kind of testable docs, testable code samples in the docs, I think they come with Rust. Like, it's sort of, they've kind of thought about it all.
Oh, the playground stuff. Yeah, actually, I think that might be new. I did look at it a little while ago, mostly because a company I was working for wanted to do a book, and this Rust book is kind of also famous. And we were looking. I installed it to see how it worked, but that was about as far as I got. So this is the website, rust-lang.org. It originally comes out of Mozilla. It also wraps up a lot with this WebAssembly. There's one to look into in the future as well, Ian. WebAssembly.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about WebAssembly.
It's kind of the latest cool kid on the street.
And that's our job, to inspect the cool kids, basically.
So already I've kind of got a bunch of different links. I'm wondering where to start. So we have the install, learn, the playground, which I think is not quite what you're referring to, but similar. Tools, which we will probably come to. Getting started, that actually looks different. So this is where it's already interesting. And actually, I have dabbled in their documentation before because I used it as some examples in a talk I did. But we have different options here. We can try Rust without installing. Or we can install it, which is kind of the interesting thing.
I think we got to go install.
Yeah.
I think we need to, yeah. So the first thing is to use Rust up, which is their package manager.
Yeah. I don't really want to do that, though. I want to use Homebrew.
You're going to build it from the source.
I've got my own package manager already installed. Homebrew, here we go. Let's find it does exist. I just have to find look, there's a lot of options here. I just have to find it down here somewhere, I'm sure.
You can't just brew install Rust?
Probably. It's actually probably possible.
Yeah.
It's always... it looks like I've even done it before. Although I think I'm actually going to run into a problem I think I discovered before, which is I try to do Rust, and then I think it says do Rust up first. So it actually, I think it takes that concept, and we can actually confirm it whilst we're waiting for that. My machine is running very slow today. So, like Python, Node, a couple of other languages have these kind of optional version management tools. I think Rust kind of forces you down the path from the outset using it.
I don't know if they're even optional these days, the way package management is going.
Something is happening, but
you're getting something. Maybe you're getting a core. You're just going to get Rust. looks like.
Maybe they've aliased it. Let's see what happens. But I get the feeling we should have done rust up. I feel like I went down this path a while ago and had a similar issue, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this.
And once you make this mistake, your machine's beat, because then it's in the path, and then you try to install the version manager, and the paths get all messed up.
We also have this cargo thing. I always found this strange. The package manager is called cargo, and I cannot see any reason there's a connection between cargo and Rust. But
it just reminds me of I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see the theme, right? Like, oh, maybe I can.
Can you?
Yeah, it just sounds like cool outdoorsy, like I don't know, grungy words. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if you look at the logo, it's kind of like I never really thought about that actually. Yeah. Now this is probably building from source, so this might take a little bit of time. Yeah. And whenever we do live stream, and my CPU goes wild, so I can show you my CPU consumption.
Oh yeah, there it is.
It's pretty full on. So yeah, the browser is doing most of the work. So things take a little bit longer. In the meantime, let's maybe see what's next. So install. Is it up to date? And then we get to the book, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. And we have the VS Code, which I'll open that up. And there is a hello world. So we'll probably move on to that immediately as soon as this is done doing its thing, which I hope won't take too much longer. This kind of speed is normally reserved for Kubernetes and JavaScript projects.
Yeah.
But I think it's my machine more than anything. I did a hands-on with a GraphQL project on Monday. And boy, oh boy, was I doing a lot of sitting around.
It's hands off with GraphQL.
Sitting around with GraphQL. Okay, hello. This is slightly concerning. I switched to wired connection when I do streaming, and the wired connection where I am is actually a lot slower than our wireless, but I always consider it to be more stable. So it's slower but more stable. Still, something is happening. Maybe I should have done it in like verbose mode. So
that is a nice piece of software. Is that Apple?
No, this is iStats menu. It's a fairly well-known third-party thing.
Yeah.
I always have this slight concern about how much overhead it adds. Okay, this is starting to bother me. This is starting to bother me.
Yeah, the thing with Brew is you don't really have any insight into what's happening except for the emoji icon changing
I
up
do
top.
wonder, just whilst we're...
Uh-oh.
Is there a difference? I just wonder, out of pure interest. Let's see.
It looks like your web page is kind of still loading there too.
Oh, that's a very good point. Already in progress. Okay, that's reasonable.
Just smash the enter key a few times. That always works.
I don't know about that.
On Windows it works. For there's some bug in terminal or something that like sometimes it just stalls and you have to press return.
It actually looks like stuff is already in my path. So maybe I'm not going to put this down to a Rust problem. I'm going to put this down to a things being a bit slow problem. So maybe we can just carry on. I'm just going to do this, and I have a special tab with bigger font and stuff. So I'm just going to... All right, we may regret this. This may not work, but let's see.
There we go.
Something happened. Generate a new directory, which is interesting because... Or binary application. Okay, all right. So...
I'm already intrigued by what a TOML file is.
TOML is Tom's something markup language. It's an alternative to YAML. The only projects I see that use it widely are Rust and a lot of Go projects, actually. So Hugo, for example, uses it. Whatever. All right, let's see if Visual Studio Code is smart enough to open this up as we go as well. So I'll open up a new window here. And so something has already happened. There's a crab. That's weird. So I'm using a Starship here for my command line customization, and I don't know why it's deciding to signify Rust with a crab, but whatever. We'll go with it. It's fun.
I'm taking notes on these tools.
Starship is nice, but I'm also using ZSH, so
yeah,
I go a bit wild in my terminal.
Does the Panda come with Starship as well?
No, that. Firstly, excuse me, Ian, that is a koala.
Oh, I should have known that's personally offensive to you.
And secondly, no, I added that myself. So, all right. So we've already got the icon here, but I haven't. It's already picked it up as Rust and activating extension. I don't think I had it installed, but that's nice. Cargo TOML, it's already picked up TOML as well. So yeah, it's pretty similar to YAML. So we have the file here, hello world. I mean, I think that's going to work pretty much as we expect. Is that? Oh, that's done. So things have happened. I don't know what. It took a little bit of time, but it worked. We'll just run this. Now, so we did cargo new, and we created a new project, and there's obviously a default one here, so we can now cargo run. I mean, this is pretty quick and easy. It compiles. It is a compiled language. It printed hello world. I mean, that's kind of what we expect.
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Let's add a dependency where you can find all sorts of, and this is where it gets weird as well. Rust uses cargo for its package manager, and you find libraries on crates.io. I do start to find their terminology gets a bit confused, but still. I also used to work for a company called crate.io, which has always confused me for some time. So there you go. Ferris says, I think we're going to have Ferris Bueller giving us quotes, which I really like.
Great.
So we'll use a crate called Ferris. So we actually do this manually. Okay, all right, fine. Cargo.toml. That's it, it's already there, but I'll just shrink that down a bit and add that in. Nice. I don't know if there's any kind of with a lot of Node these days, you actually can even hover over the thing and get like installations and stuff, but I'm not seeing that
I've
here.
been working with TypeScript packages, and now you can see the size of the package in the comments and stuff. It's gotten to be so cool.
It doesn't look like there's that kind of interoperability yet, which is reasonable. There might be another extension, but not here right now. That's fair enough. That's a little too much to expect.
Yeah. Where's our autocomplete?
We will build it in a second, but let's actually do something. So when we build it, something will happen. So this is saying to use this dependency, we can open the main.rs file, remove everything that's in there. Okay. And this time means we need to say, okay. It's not going to do very much right now. Let's do what it says. We have this tendency to always jump ahead and then break things. So
Speaking of, did it finish compiling?
Yeah. It did it a minute ago.
It did. Okay, great.
Yeah. So that's updating the index. It's all fairly self-explanatory so far. Fetching. Seems relatively large for whatever this is. I think. I'm intrigued to know where it keeps all this stuff. I don't know if it keeps it at a local project level. Well, yeah, but does it do it at a local project level, or does it do it on a? I think it does it at a user level. Actually, let's see.
Is this just a huge database of all the packages that you're downloading?
Possibly, yeah. Maybe it's doing it for the first time. Yeah. So cargo registry. So yeah, it's doing. I think it's checking it out here, but then
and of course Microsoft is hosting everything as usual.
Is it?
It's GitHub.
See? Oh, GitHub. Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, everything now. I see. And then we have this is the build, I guess. Yep. Anyway, let's not get too distracted by that right now. Wait for that to finish. Downloading 5 crates. So obviously Ferris has its own dependencies.
Unicode with.
Oh, hello. Oh, we haven't. Okay, this is interesting actually. well, we jumped ahead. I added this after it said cargo build, but this is actually giving us a good excuse to look at these error messages. So
yeah. I was
unused
thinking you said they were
import.
good, and main function not found in create hello Rust.
Main function not found. I mean, that's consider adding a main function. All right, fine. Aborting. Yeah, okay. For more information about this error, I think this is where it gets interesting. So it's like, I don't understand what this error means. So
I
I'm
have
going
seen
to
this. Yeah.
go here, and I'm going to say, tell me more. No main function was found in a binary crate. To fix this error, add a main function. If you don't know the basics of Rust, you can look at the... That's slightly confusing. I think, from memory, that the book is in there. But let's see. It's out of interest. Yeah, so you can see I actually have... I think this is what happens when you install Rust in a weird way. You don't get Rust up.
You did install Rust up, though, didn't you?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. We'll come to that in a second.
Try it.
That's... Yeah, see, that's not... let's come back to that in a second. I mean, we're jumping ahead a bit here, but let's come back to that in a second. I think that gave us an idea of what people potentially mean. Let's go a bit further. All right. So most of this is... I've done a little bit of C and C++ in the past, which I think Rust is kind of loosely like. I'm not sure. Use, and then this kind of syntax is quite C-like, and then the rest, I don't know, it's a bit somewhere between. Like let is quite JavaScript-y. I don't know. Standard out is obviously very C-like. This let mutt is intriguing. This is quite C-like.
What's a mutt?
Mutation? Well, I guess so. We're not really seeing any auto-completion stuff here. I don't know if that's... maybe we haven't installed anything, or we'll carry on for now and get into that a bit later. So, cargo run. I assume we won't get any errors this time. All right, nice. We got a crab. I don't know where this crab theme comes from, but anyway, is it random? Is it different each time? No, it's the same each time.
Okay, you're right about the theme. The theme's been broken.
Don't entirely understand it, but anyway. Okay, here we go. It's telling us down here. You're a Rustation now. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. When you're ready, hop over to our Learn page where you can find lots of books. Okay. Who is this crab Ferris? Oh, it's nothing to do with Ferris Bueller. It's the crab. Ferris is the unofficial mascot of the Rust community. Many Rust programs call themselves Rustations, a play on the word crustation. We refer to Ferris with any pronoun. Oh, nice. Oh, so Ferris. Pertaining to iron. It's like blah, blah, blah. Yes. We get it. All right. So
I'll browse Rustation.net while you work.
So yeah, here's the book. They have a course. They have examples. Standard library, which is something fairly common in kind of C-like languages. Rust Edition's cargo book. That's the package manager. Rust doc, so documentation. Rust compiler. So I kind of like the fact that the documentation is all broken out into these very different sections that kind of talk you through what you probably want to know. Command line, WebAssembly book, embedded book. I think this is one of my main comments on Rust in the past. There's like so much documentation. It's like, kind of, I think the book is where we're supposed to start.
It's nice to have a book, yeah, because then it means you have a complete reference.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of did all this. We installed it in a slightly weird way, and I have a slightly bad feeling that Rust Up may not be here. Let's see. We can actually do what it says here. Rust C we definitely have. Rust Up we don't seem to have, which concerns me slightly. What happened when I tried to do that? Oh, there was a thing running at the same time. So maybe we can just do it separately. I think that's we did follow it slightly differently. But maybe you can install them separately of each other, which...
We didn't follow anything. We just made it up.
We just made it up, yeah. It's my general approach with homebrew. Yeah. Brew install, type name of thing. Something is happening. Hasn't said it doesn't exist yet, so... Yeah, there we go. So it's kept separate. There we go. That's fair enough.
Nice.
It's reasonable. This, I would think, won't take us long. Yep. So we can now do the rest of the book.
Speaking of developer experience, the making stuff up part is really typically how people get started anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like you always have these docs and guides where like people would be like, brew install Rust, you know, like that's actually how we're gonna.
Yeah. And if you acknowledge that, some people will then build nice. I'm still not getting it though. I've done something. We've done something
Maybe
weird.
close and restart the terminal. Maybe the path.
I kind of did that, but let's try again.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. We did do something a bit. Well, I did do something a bit weird. No. Yeah, I did something odd. We can actually do. Oh, no, wrong way around. Maybe I need to, I don't know. I'm not completely sure what we did wrong there. Let's not worry too much about it because, well, actually, no, it would be nice to do that, to look at that book thing. So maybe let's just do what it says. I'll end up with duplicates, but we can. It's not really what we're here for. We're not really here to fix homebrew.
Sometimes I have problems with ZSH.
Well, no, actually, yeah, so path stuff is. There is a strategy on many package managers that they won't install with Homebrew because it gets muddled. So even things like NVM and PyEnv recommend you don't use Homebrew to install them. They work, but I personally, not going particularly deep, don't ever really hit the problem, but there are arguments that you shouldn't do it. So there's one justification that maybe they've taken. I mean, it worked, but it didn't add it to path. I could probably add it to path manually, which would solve the whole problem. But let's just carry on from here, and we'll come back to that. Okay. Troubleshooting, fine. Documentation, well, we'll come to that when it's done its thing. Hello world, I think we already kind of did. Yep. This mentions kind of the structure of so you do have interactive docs. You're right here, by the looks of it. It's not going to do very much, I guess. Does it still have to compile? Yeah, it's not going to do very much. So, and what I'm interested to know here is this one of those application like interactive docs things that's recognizing what came before? Because this in theory won't work. But if it includes all the boilerplate that we've already looked at, then it will work. It does.
Yeah.
So this is something. This is something that Sphinx from Python allows. You can actually embed documentation and hide other bits. So this code snippet probably has this here, but it's hidden from the rendering. I don't know if that show hidden lines. There we go. Yeah. So show hidden lines. See,
okay,
really
cool.
Nice. So that's actually really nice. I like that. It's opinionated, 4 spaces, not a tab. For running a Rust program, must compile it. We've kind of already done that. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of that already. All right, hello cargo. I think we've probably done this already, but we're getting a bit more context. Let's see. That is restart your current shell. So let's just, I think. So that is working now. So here we go. So I think this oops, I hate it when macOS does that. Jumps to a completely different window. So yeah, it's the same book, but it's locally, which is quite nice. Yeah. And where am I? Where on earth was I? I've got too many windows. There we go. So it opens it locally. So it's the same book, but it's local, which is really nice because you can actually learn offline, which is super nice.
Oh, yeah.
I won't disconnect from the internet right now because that'll break the stream, but that's really nice that you could do that. So, yeah. So creating a project with cargo. Let's create a new project using cargo and see how it differs. Okay, great. I don't know what that's. Yeah, this is one pet peeve of mine with code examples that prefix dollar signs because you can't actually copy and paste it. So let's create a new program. Change directory into it. Okay. First command creates a new directory. Yep. They also go for this very verbose, unassuming documentation, which I really like. I mean, I can't imagine one person wrote all this, so there's a lot of effort going into making this have some consistency. I mean, this is the getting started guide. I don't know how deep it goes, but still, I quite like it. So it's created a toml and a source directory, and apparently a git and a git ignore as well. Git won't be generated if you run cargo with new. Okay, let's open this up in VS Code again. Get a new one going. Let's close that one down. It should be pretty similar to the last time, I guess. Yeah. The main difference seems to be, oh no, it did have a source file. So there's nothing in any of them. Oh no, there is the same basically. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of different things here. Something is slightly different here. This is added authors, which is not here, but let's add it. I wonder if, no. I actually wonder if the extension is actually installed. Let's check. Let's do it in preview. Preview with 1.25 million installs. I like it. Wow. Oh, it's not installed. So there we go. Let's actually install that.
Look at the ratings to installs ratio for developer feedback.
It's not bad.
87 ratings with 1.2 million users.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. I can actually show you, I can even show you, I can show you like one of the ones that, this is much lower, but this is one of the extensions I help maintain. So we have 4,500 and 1 review. So there you go. So it's pretty similar. So this is saying that some things were not installed. I don't know if that's a path issue or if there's just some things missing, but it's doing, it's adding analysis tools. Okay, that's fine. That's different. That's more useful in an editor. So yeah. This is also really nice. Another programming language we could do at some point, although I've played around with it a bit too much, is Flutter. Flutter and Dart have really nice tooling as well. Oops. My mouse has just disconnected, which is very useful. Oh, there we go. It's back again. All right, good. So, great. Go away. Thank you. All right, so now I think I can start typing. No? Okay, all right. I don't know. I don't know. I think it wants it quoted, which is reasonable.
I don't think you're using arrays properly here.
Well, okay. No, all right, fine. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's fix it. Oh, here we go. TOML is Tom's obvious minimal language. Very opinionated. Hello, Cargo. Great. Let's just change our name. Let's call it. There we go. And 2018. I mean, that's pretty wild. Let's update that a bit. Oh, huh? Okay.
20 what?
Failed to parse it. What don't you like? That's weird.
Turn it back to 2018.
It's too recent. Maybe it means the addition of the syntax. Ah, okay. Interesting.
Oh.
It means the addition of the syntax. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Talk about addition key in Appendix E. Should have read the docs. There we go.
Talk about us not reading the docs as usual.
Yep. Which, considering that's my day job, I should really know better. Okay. All right, good. I wonder if we're going to get any code completion type stuff. No, we're still not really getting anything, interestingly.
You look like you were able to click on it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Sort of, I think.
Huh.
I don't know. Sometimes I do find it. Oh, okay, go to definition. Yeah. Sometimes I find that VS Code can take a little bit of time
Yeah.
to. Oh, okay, well, there
Maybe
you go.
you're not running the since you had issues with the path. Maybe it's not in the VS Code path.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we did mess around a bit there. All right, building and running. We kind of did all that. I guess we can also do it from down here. I think. Nothing is really happening there. And we renamed it as well. I've got a bad feeling that now my broken installation has messed something up here, which is a shame. Maybe we just do the good old reload window. JavaScript application.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, something is killing my CPU.
I'm going to install those tools right after.
Oh, there we go. So it has actually
there you go.
picked it up. So I think just starting indexing.
Cool.
Still can't seem to run it. I think I can. There we go. You don't have an extension for debugging Rust. Should we find one? Okay. Sure.
Rust and Friends.
This one seems to be the most installed. The extension I use for Rust development. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know. That one has more installs. I don't know. I don't actually really need to debug this, to be honest with you, but oh wow, this looks like I'm gonna have a lot to uninstall when I'm done here.
Yeah.
Oh wow, time is running away as well. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, we'll be ready to write code by the end of the stream.
Okay. I mean, I don't actually need a debugger really. I mean, I'm happy not to debug. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, can I actually just run it now?
Where's the output?
It's possibly because
Terminal? Yeah. Output.
Ah,
Jeez.
whoa.
Oh.
What on earth is going on here? Okay. All sorts.
Connection refused.
Developer
adapter
tools
code.
access. I don't know what that is, but I'll give my password to it.
The
There
debugger
we go.
can't get through the firewall.
Something.
Yeah.
It worked. We'd had a lot of
Cool.
extra stuff going on there, but it worked. Okay. Anyway, once again, I jumped far too far ahead, but something worked. Creates an executable file in here. Target debug. Hello. Am I looking in? Target debug.
That's it right there, probably, right?
Oh yeah. Right there, I guess.
Yeah, on Mac, I think executables don't have an extension, do they?
Oh yeah, there we go. So we could, in theory, run it. Sure.
How do you feel about this
Sorry.
sort of trend of compiled languages? Do you think that
Kind of.
this is
The
like
trend.
where we're going?
Well, it depends. It depends what you're trying to do, of course.
Yeah.
And this is where things like webassembly become really interesting because you can kind of do them on the fly. But for the use cases that Rust is in, which is embedded and C-style programming, then obviously it makes more sense. If you're building a web application, then I don't know, maybe it's probably overkill. But yeah, we can also have a bunch of checks your code to make sure it compiles but doesn't produce an executable. Great. Building for release. So this is another thing you can kind of do so we have a difference between Cargo and Rust C. So with these simple projects, Cargo doesn't provide a lot of value over just using Rust C, but it will provide its worth as your programs become more intricate. So I guess that's kind of no, actually I can't think of a comparison. I guess there's a lot of package managers for C++. I helped document a C++ application last year, and we used something I'd never heard of for compiling instead of just using CPP. So I guess that's kind of comparable, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Summary. So that was kind of the basics, really. I don't think we have too much time to go any further.
We've got about 15 minutes, I think.
Which is a shame. I don't know if we can have a quick look here. It looks reasonably long. It looks fairly long, unfortunately. I guess there's probably like a final thing we might be able to just... so this is the final. So loops, matching. Yeah.
It looks pretty straightforward. I mean, like I'm saying, at the beginning of this stream, I said I was intimidated by new languages, but I guess I learned TypeScript recently, so maybe now I have a higher tolerance for deeper languages.
I'm intrigued by this ordering. This is I think
the mutable thing was interesting too. The mutable meant so you have this let keyword, right? Which in JavaScript, it's kind of funny. In JavaScript, it means this will change, right?
Yep.
This is, and then here we have let mute. Like let actually does not change unless you have the mutable keyword. So it's like the opposite, actually.
I think that from memory of when I was documenting this C project, I think there may be something similar there. I have actually helped document 2 C++ projects, but I barely understood. But one was a compiler and one was a camera module. So they were very beyond my knowledge. So maybe let's quickly just recap some of the other things that are relevant to developer experience part, just to wrap up there.
Yeah.
Because there's also a lot of stuff in the way they do community governance is fairly... open as well. These courses that I really like as well, so you can actually work your way through this course. I find the names slightly patronizing, Rustlings, but I still kind of like it. There's this very sort of friendly flavor going on here. So I guess this takes you through a whole bunch of exercises and then tests, which I guess is a nice way you can actually test that so you can actually use it on Replit or on Gitpod. Look at that. Let's have a look. That'd be nice. Our friends at Gitpod. Let's see how that works. That would be super nice. Okay. Oh, God damn it. To dance. Oh, I'm gonna hang on. You have to give me 1 second because I actually reset my phone today, but I backed up everything to my iPad because I didn't want to run into a problem like this. Yep.
I've started to use the authenticator apps.
No, I have one, but I actually want to switch my authentication apps to 1Password as well. But
I don't understand how they're made by multiple companies, those apps. Like you can choose one by Facebook, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a bit odd. I do like the fact that this is called Gopher, which is kind of a Go concept, but we're doing a Rust thing. So that's really nice, and I like the fact it's got this integrated environment we could dive into and play with and check out as we go. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I think there's a fair bit of complexity here that we might have to understand.
Open up Clippy. Clippy is the the helper agent in Microsoft Word.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually going to make Clippy in Rust.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Collection of lints to analyze your code so you can catch common mistakes and improve your Rust code.
I bet there's going to be a joke in here about it, but let's see. Yeah, it's a linter. Interesting. Cargo Clippy. Cargo Clippy sounds really comical. All right. I actually have a really cool sticker from a Microsoft engineer I met at a conference a couple of years ago, where they made unofficial clippy stickers.
Yeah.
And they gave me one.
For marketing department.
Yeah. So we have the cargo book as well for the package manager, the book, the compiler book. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. I really do quite like it. And it breaks out into the embedded as well.
Compiler error index. That's kind of what we were thinking about.
Good point.
The error handling.
Yeah. We didn't really... We could actually trigger some more errors, I suppose, to see what happens. Like forget a semicolon, for example. Can I go check? I mean, it's not... Oh, that's weird. It worked.
What about just typing just type some nonsense, I guess. Maybe try to
make that work. Maybe semicolons are optional. Let's see.
Yeah, try that.
Let's try it that way. There we go. Yeah.
A mismatch closing delimiter, unclosed delimiter.
To learn. So this isn't, strangely though, that isn't offering to learn more. We'll do it with verbose. Maybe, I don't know. Strange it doesn't. It's odd.
It kind of tells you exactly what to change. I think that's pretty like.
Yeah, I mean, but it's weird because the first time we got that find out more here kind of thing, which is interesting. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. So, but anyway, this is one thing I really like. So it's not just, we know that so many compiler error messages can be just like error 3310, compiler failed or something. But we have reasonably good error messages, an explanation, a reason for the explanation, and even an example with a run command, which is interesting.
Run the error. Wow.
Where's that going to take us? I don't know where that's taking us. I'm not quite sure what that's going to tell us, but yeah, they've really gone quite deep into this. And I mean, it's interesting because, of course, I feel like there's a lot going on and sometimes it doesn't always connect up, but it's still there. I mean, I guess if it comes from Mozilla also renowned for MDN, the developer network, which is also pretty thorough and pretty popular. So, there's some reasons maybe behind that. Yeah, and a lot of tools here. I'm not 100% sure what the meaning behind getting the error messages in different cases is, but yeah. I don't know. I kind of like this. I would almost like to dig a bit further, but I will have to wrap up because I actually have to do another call. But I think, what's your thoughts? I mean, if you had to, say tomorrow you needed to build an application for an embedded device, you needed a really high performance application. Would you have a look at Rust instead of Go or Python or something? I mean, are you intrigued at least if you had a use case?
I am. Yeah, no, I am. Especially I noticed, you just mentioned like the low resource kind of device, like, embedded, like compared to writing C for Arduino or something, it seems to be really, really nice. Right. Yeah. And it's not really my domain, but I think that it's kind of bringing a lot of those concepts from web, right, to these lower level languages. As I moved, to Electron from JavaScript web stuff, I'm it is more appealing to have that bare metal access, right? So. Yeah,
and this whole WebAssembly thing, I think we'll have to look at WebAssembly at some point in the future. I've had a want to look at that for some time. And I even have, I think, a blog post somewhere about how to write Hello World in WebAssembly because it's kind of this weird like mixture of stuff going on. So it could be one to try. And I think the Rust project was one of the first people to propose it. I mean, it came from a browser maker. So yeah. Sorry, say it again.
I'd be interested in trying WebAssembly. Yeah, maybe that could be the next one.
Yeah, we can add that as another one. But I quite like what Rust has to offer. I must admit I would struggle to have valid use cases because most of what I want to build are probably things with a front end.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Rust really is a front end language or if it's more of a back end language. I would think.
I see some docs on building a multi-threaded web server.
Yeah, so it's mostly back end.
Yeah.
But then for me, with the whole emphasis on documentation and their own custom documentation tool and things like that, like it's very hard for me to not like their approach, at least. That's for sure. Whether I actually have a use for it is something else. But I like their approach. So
I googled why Rust, and Rust is statically typed programming language designed for performance and safety. It solves a lot of the problems C developers have been struggling with, like memory errors and concurrent programming.
Yep. Well, seems
Rust is also the
reasonable.
most beloved language by the Stack Overflow survey in 2020.
Okay. It's actually funny there. Something I want to look into. I heard one of the commit log podcast episodes, and they had an interview with the person from NeoVim. And NeoVim is the most loved IDE, and I've barely ever looked at it. So there you go. Wow. So it's not always, I think sometimes niche tools are more popular because it's like C#. C# is not used by everybody, but most people I've ever met who use it really like it because the tooling is very nicely made and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we should do C# again. I joke. All right. I don't think we've decided what we're going to do next week, but how can people stay in touch with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ian Jennings, IANJ3NNINGS. How about you?
You can find me at christianchiller.com. If you like the look of me, I recently published a blog post on my blog, which is the first time I've done that in a long time, on my streaming and audio setup. So you can peek behind the curtain if you want and have a read.
How about your closet and fashion?
Well, this is a shirt from a shirt maker in Charlottenburg near the famous palace in West Berlin. So cool. Can't really help you there, I'm afraid. It's not very international. But I did walk past their shop. It's like, I like that. I got to get myself one of those. And they were very nice. They even took it in for me and all sorts of things. So,
yeah.
All right. Do you want to sign us off?
This has been Developers, otherwise known as Devx5. My name's Ian. This is Chris, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with what will probably be WebAssembly. Bye.